Good morning, everyone. This is going to be the fourth episode of the podcast ADHD is a Superpower, and I'm going to be talking about, something that, that's something that actually can make ADHD not seem like much of a superpower, but it's all about harnessing that Ferrari brain, right? We need to take the good with the bad. And today I am going to talk about one of the quote-unquote bad aspects of ADHD. But I'm going to also talk about how we can practical solutions to counter that negative tendency and integrate it. This is shadow work. Again, if you want to know what shadow work is and how to do it, I have posted a separate episode about that quite a while ago. I think it's the Blueprint episode 1. So go watch that if you want to know what shadow work is. So talking about ADHD and impulsivity. So impulsivity is basically having no control over your impulses. So, for example, spending. This is something I struggle with a lot, especially because it's also a trauma response, because when you're feeling down, it gives you a dopamine boost to buy something. Retail therapy, right? But it can become extremely maladaptive and addictive. I've been through this before where I got addicted to buying things, and then I recognized that myself, so I made myself stop. But then every time, the trauma comes up, I slip back into those bad habits, and then I have to bring myself back. And that's basically how addiction works. So it's sort of, this episode is going to be a combination of trauma response, addiction, and sort of impulsivity associated with ADHD. And and speaking of the dopamine hit, so that is why you find yourself spending more than you have, why you have credit cards. And this is why I'm so very strongly against credit cards in general. I don't like credit cards. I'd never want to get a credit card. But there are some things that in this world where a credit card, they make it impossible not to do certain things unless you have a credit card. Like renting a car, you can't rent a car without having a credit card. And that really sucks. And I feel that it's unfair, but whatever. It's kind of forcing people to go into debt, basically. Like, why would you want to spend money that you don't have, that then you later have to pay back? I feel the same way about loans. Why spend money you don't have? I get it. I understand it. But, this is why people are in debt, why people are struggling to make ends meet, because either, I don't know if it's ADHD or if it's a trauma response, because I think a lot of people have unresolved trauma that they have suppressed, that they're not dealing with. And one way that the brain deals with trauma is through unhealthy ways of getting that dopamine hit. And one of them is unfortunately excessive spending. So, and this is something, again, I've personally experienced, because I cannot talk about things that I haven't gone through myself, because how can I have any authority to tell you stuff if I haven't gone through it myself? So I have gone through, and that is why I'm telling you this. I'm sharing this because I went through it, and I developed coping mechanisms that helped me to not overspend, to not go down that route. So that's why this episode is basically going to be practical tips to saving money, to budgeting, to being able to control your impulses, and hopefully giving yourself financial security. And that's what I'm doing today. So let's start with, for me, for example, I am, right now I'm living off the salary I earn from working for my dad. because he has a private company, and he asked me to start working for him in September, and it's basically administrative work that makes him a lot of money per document that I do. And he was in a really bad state at that time because he was behind on everything, because he didn't have enough sort of secretarial assistant, and he works 6 days a week. So it was very difficult for him. So I told him, well, he asked me, well, can you help? And I said, yes, I will help. And he said he will pay me. And I agreed, because I need, I didn't have any other source of income. I was studying, I was in medical school, I was also doing my master's in psychology at the same time, and I took on this work as well. So even though, recently things got kind of crazy, and I told my dad, you can stop them. I sort of stopped working for him because of what happened in my family, and I told him you can stop sending the salary, but he has not cancelled. I mean, he has not stopped sending it, because he said keep it as rent, even if you don't want to work. I'm gonna keep paying you for your rent. So, and now I've told him I'm ready to start working to take on that work for him again. Now that I've healed, now that I've reconnected with my parents, and that's the stage where I'm at now. So every month I receive a sum from him, and that goes. So initially what I was doing was I was sort of spending it in a kind of, I would spend it all at once, basically, on stupid stuff. Basically I would be when I get the money, I would be spending, and then at the end of the month, I'd be basically I would have nothing, and I'd be like scraping for money, and I would be cursing myself for not having saved some of the money. And that was the cycle for the first, I would say for the first couple of months of my life. I would say the first couple of months, because it's only really the last month where I actually figured out how to prevent that, because I really hated how I was struggling, and I was also really really annoyed with myself and hating the stress I felt, because bills would come in and I wouldn't have money to pay it. I'm like, oh, why didn't I put that money aside? How can I? And then I would be like sort of trying to scramble and seeing if I have some money tucked away somewhere. Then I would be like shifting from account to account. It was a nightmare, and it was horrible, and I promised myself last month that I would not do this again. So what I've done now is I've worked out a really good system, and I'm really happy with my system. So when I get my money, one thing I did, I sat down and wrote down my sort of expenses every month. So one is rent, another is all the bills. So there'd be like subscriptions that I don't want to lose. And also in that process, I realized I was spending money on subscriptions I don't use. And it was a waste, because I don't even use it, and I have it. So I got rid of subscriptions that I don't use, and I wrote down the subscriptions I do use and how much it costs me each month. Then I wrote down other expenses, is like my bus pass, because I travel around on I get around the Isle of Wight by bus. So I got so I couldn't afford the 90-day one, but I got the 30-day, or was it 60-day? I got one of them, the one I could afford at the moment. I wrote down how much that cost me, and I put it in there. So I'm so I this is how I did this. I wrote down, actually I'm just gonna get my book, because it will be easier for me to just tell you, just remind myself of my budget, so that I can monthly expenses. There we go. So I've got things like my Facebook Meta, which is £20, almost £20, but it's worth it because it protects me from scammers, protects me from, it's just a load off my back that people won't be using my name and picture to scam other people, because I have the blue tick because my account has been verified against my identity, basically. I pay almost £30 for Adobe, and I thought a lot about whether I should cancel that, but I've decided not to, because I plan to use the Photoshop, InDesign, the Illustrator. There's so many things that I get from that subscription that makes it worthwhile for me to keep it. Then phone bills. I cancelled Netflix, but I kept Disney Plus, because watching Disney is something that brings me comfort, makes me happy, and it's good for me, and I get a lot of inspiration from watching Disney, because there's a lot of people think it's just for kids, but if you actually watch it, there is so much in there. There's a whole level in there that only adults will understand, and there's a lot of wisdom in there that only adults will understand. So before you dismiss Disney, just take a look. Phone bill. So basically I wrote them all down, wrote how much everything costs me, and then I wrote down the total. I got the total and wrote it down. And then, so I have a Revolut account. I have the Revolut Pro, which costs me $7.99 a month. And again, it is something that has so many features that make it worth that £8 a month. And that feature is what I would say has been the biggest relief for me financially. So what it does is you can make different pockets. So within the same account, you basically can subdivide your money into bits. So I have subdivided my money into rent. So I have a pocket where I put money for rent. I have a pocket where I put money for bills. So everything that I calculated for a month, the total amount, I put that money, as soon as my salary came in, I put that money into a pocket called bills. So I don't spend that unless it's for the bills. So that's, and another pocket I made is, what else did I make? Hold on. I made a pocket called cooking, so that I can use it. So because I have bake sales and cook for other people, or cook, for charity, I have money that I put in there that I use to buy things to cook. Especially because I like to cook healthy things. I like to use make recipes that are unhealthy healthy. So for example, I made a sort of flapjack kind of thing, but I made it it's a chocolate thing because I love chocolate, but it's diabetes friendly. It's made with stevia and honey, and it's also made of ingredients that are gluten free. And it's full of things like granola, oats, honey, like pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, what else? Raisins, cranberries, and also the butter I used is not it's the the one that's the spreadable one, made with rapeseed oil, vegetable oil, so it's supposed to be healthier. And cocoa. So, and even though it's not perfect, I liked it. I thought it was good. And I thought it was a reasonably good alternative to the processed stuff that you can buy. And this is basically what I sort of want to do. I want to make healthy food that is sort of can be enjoyed by people with diabetes, with people with celiac disease, also people who are lactose intolerant. So this is what I'm moving towards. So that's what I wanted to say about Revolut Pro. And if you do want to get Revolut Pro, I'm going to post a link that will earn me money. If you use that link, it will actually earn me money. So I would be very grateful that if you are thinking of getting a Revolut Pro because I told you this, I'd be very grateful if you can do it. I mean, it would help me out a lot. What else? Avoid brands if you want to save money. I will share another anecdote. So I had plans to hang out with a friend, have dinner, and just chill. And I initially, because I live next to a Pizza Hut and I've been walking past it every single day, I have been really craving Pizza Hut because it's something I used to really enjoy. But I haven't been having it because it's bloody expensive. And also, I mean, pizza is not really healthy, even though I love it to bits. But again, it's something that it's like comfort food. So when I'm really upset or when I want to treat myself, I get it. So I told my friend, you know what, I've got some money. Let's get Pizza Hut. And he said, okay. Then I actually went there and I had a look at the menu and I was like, this is so incredibly expensive. And also I was thinking, it doesn't taste that great. Like as much as I think I'll enjoy it, I usually won't enjoy it as much as I think I will. So then I also went to Morrison's, which is where I usually do my shopping. I have a Morrison's small card, which gives me a bunch of discounts. And also Morrison's does a lot of good things for the community, like, collecting food for people who can't afford to, recycling like coffee pots and plastic. They do a lot of good for the community and for the environment. And I'm very, very like supportive of both those things. So I like shopping at Morrison's, and they also have a lot of like affordable, healthy food and a lot of deals that if you're smart about the deals, you can save a lot of money. And that is how I've been saving money. So, if you're smart about it, you can save a lot of money. So again, coming back to Morrison's has a section at the back where they have, they make fresh pizzas and they sell them so it's £4 for one or two for £6. So I was like, why don't I just get this? I've had it before. It's good. I know it's good. And so I bought myself a vegetarian one with lots of vegetables, and I bought a plain one, and then I asked my friend, what do you like on a pizza? And I'll just make it myself. And he said he likes ham and cheese, so I got ham, and I also got some spices. So I got thyme. I wanted to get oregano, but I couldn't find it that day. Oregano, then what else did I get? I got like garlic powder. And the third one, which always my mind blanks, if I remember I'll let you know. So I put some rock salt as well, and I put them, like, made the cut up ham and put it on the pizza for my friend, stuck it in the oven, and it was delicious. We both enjoyed it, and I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it more than I would a normal pizza that I would have bought from Pizza Hut or Domino's, or even the one that I just bought from Morrison's. If I just had it as it is, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But I seasoned it to my liking. So that's a way to... Avoiding brands is another great way to save money. And also charity shops, people. You have no idea how much good quality stuff you can find at cheap prices in the charity shops. I got a bunch of stuff that's like, especially material, clothes, for example, material that's like easy washable and that's very durable, that you can basically, you buy it and then you use it for life. You can get those for like £1 or £2, £5, that kind of range, where if you buy it new, it's maybe £25 to £40. Things that I've seen in Sports Direct, that material you can get at a fraction of that cost in a charity shop. And also you're doing a good thing. You're giving, you're contributing to an important cause, whatever that charity shop is supporting. You're giving to that, so you'll get back that good karma as well by doing this. It's not only clothes. I was in the British, there's a furniture shop just around the corner here, that's British Heart Foundation, and they have a bunch of stuff, including new stuff, by the way. Charity shops also stock new stuff now. So so I got myself a lamp that's old. I needed a lamp because the light in my room is not enough to do my arts and crafts, especially if I want to do it at night. So I got a lamp for £4. And that has made my life so much easier, especially sometimes, my sleep schedule is crazy and I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, or if I have a nap and then I can't sleep, so I end up doing my arts and crafts late at night, and having that light makes such a big difference, because otherwise it strains my eyes and I can't really do much. So that's another thing. I also bought some speakers for £4 again, and like Bluetooth speakers, perfectly good condition. So you can save a lot of money by going to charity shops. Also, like using things like comparethemarket.com, because you can actually, because what happens is in all these big branded supermarkets like Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's, some things are always less expensive than others. So if you are actually willing to spend a little more time looking at the different prices and seeing where you can get stuff cheaper, you can save a lot of money. And that's what I do now, because our family used to be all about Sainsbury's and we only shop at Sainsbury's. But the thing is, some things are really expensive at Sainsbury's that are very cheap at Tesco's or Asda or somewhere else. But now I shop everywhere, and I actually have, and that's another thing that you can do to save money. You can get the app or the discount cards. A club card, like Tesco has a club card, Sainsbury's has Nectar, Asda. To be honest, I haven't really used Asda enough to get the loyalty card. I have a Morrison's More card. I have a co-op card. By the way, I love the co-op. They are so good. They do so much in the community. They give a lot of, they're amazing. Please support co-ops. So getting all of those and having that on my phone, I have Apple Wallet, I have all the loyalty cards on there, and I save a bunch of money by using that. What else? Always have some savings, and this is something I really struggle with. I had a savings account. It's in my Revolut account. Again, it comes with an option of having a separate savings account. But what happened is, even though I would put money in there, when I need to, I take it back out. And that is so, that means that's as bad as not having money at all, or not having savings at all. So there's a couple of things I've done to make my way around that. One thing is, I got myself a piggy bank from Poundland, and it's one of those that you cannot get into. You cannot open it. So once you put something in, that's it. So I have a piggy bank, and I've labeled it savings, and I keep it on my mantelpiece. And every day I put something in. I made a deal with myself that every single day I will put something in there, even if it's 1 penny. So when I have money, I will, if I've just got my salary, or I get some money, I take out £10 and I withdraw £10 and I put it in there. But on some days when I don't really have much, I would put down 2p or 20p or whatever it is I have in my purse. I put it in there. And that is slowly growing, because I'm putting something into it every day. It is slowly growing and I can't take anything out. So that is one thing that I have. And that is for a true emergency. When I'm really, really stuck, I can use, metal cut. I don't even have a plan how to open it, because I don't want to have a plan right now, because I don't want to open it. Do you understand? So this is how because I know myself enough that this is the only way I will save for a future where I don't have any other money, because I don't really trust bank accounts after the scams I've been through. So yeah, anyways, and it's not just me. A lot of people have lost money through banks, and that is a whole other story that we won't get into right now. okay, so I talked about the piggy bank, and then I also found out that Revolut has the system where there's like it's something called spare change savings. So basically, you can set it up so that every day it will put in a little bit of money, even if it's like 3 pence or 33 pence, or it's like a percentage of what's in your personal account, a tiny percentage of it. You can set the percentage, and every single day it will put it in by itself. I don't have to do it myself. And that means it's like, without me knowing it, money is being saved. And that's perfect for me. Because I like, for me to actively do it is more difficult than it just happening by itself. Okay. What else can I talk about? Savings. Yes. Another way to save money. Okay, the only money that I didn't lose from my savings is because I couldn't open it. Even when I was being scammed, it was impossible. And that's my ISA money. And ISA is another way to save. That is such a good way to save money. So ISA has different accounts. The one that I have right now that has money in it is so it's the one that I can't remember what it's called, but basically I can only take money out either for my first mortgage, so I can use that money towards a house deposit, or after 65 years old, it's my pension. So those are the only two options for me to open that account and use that money. So that is a great safety net, and that is something that I can use in the future. That is something that sort of every month, my dad was sending me £300 that I was putting in there. I haven't been able to do that recently, so it's been a few months since I've been able to put anything into ISA. And the nice thing is the government gives you a percentage. So you put 300 in, it gives you £75. That's the amazing thing about that account. Then you have different ISA accounts. So I looked into this extensively. That basically is like a fixed deposit system that exists in India. I don't know if something similar is here or if this is it. So basically what happens is you put in money and it's locked for, 5 years, 10 years. It depends on what you sign up for. And in that time, it will accrue interest. So you cannot access it for about 5 years at least. Or I think the minimum is 5 years. But it will be there, and you kind of have the interest from that as well. That's another long-term saving. So I think the point I'm trying to make is have different levels of savings. Have savings that you absolutely cannot access, like my piggy bank. That's basically for an absolute emergency where I'm really stuck, where if I don't have money, things are really, really bad. And so that is one thing, one type of saving. Another type is the one I told you about, where I can only use it if I'm investing it into a home or after 65 as a pension plan. That's another option. That's another type of saving. Then I have like a temporary saving, which is my Revolut account savings, which is basically money that I can access immediately if I need to, but it's still savings because it's like I like to put away a little bit every when after my bills, after everything's done, and if I have an extra £50, I will put it in there. But then I know that if I really need to, I can take some out. Like right now, I don't have anything in my Revolut savings, or I have very little, because I've basically used up most of the money that I had, and all the money that now is in my Revolut is needed to pay the bills after the 1st. So I'm not touching that. I hope that makes sense. Okay, I think for right now, these are all the tips I have to share. And then later on, I might do another post. We'll see. But yeah, it's been more about saving money than about ADHD. But I think ADHD is highly linked with impulsivity, and that it makes us very bad at saving money and about, being sort of financially secure. And that is something I'm also actively working towards. Eventually, my plan is to get to a point where I have 30% or like 1/3 of what I earn is savings, 1/3 is for charity, and 1/3 is I can do what I want. That is what I'm aiming towards, but I'm not really at that stage right now because most of what I earn right now goes towards my rent, and that is something that I will not negotiate because I have been through homelessness, and I've made a deal with myself that even if I starve for a day, I will not go without a home or a roof over my head. And because of that, I bought myself a tent, so at least I don't have to sleep on the cold, wet ground as I have had to before. Right, so that is that for today. Until next time.